Hello friends, welcome back to SmartCoder. We are back with a video. In this video, we will learn how we can create the desktop application in our Flutter application, and also we will learn how we can make the DMG file for the macOS and the exe file for the Windows. So this is our application. You can see here we are creating a small application for the invoice generator, and here we are putting the capability to add the logo to the invoice. Then here we have the from detail, from where the invoice is coming. Then we have the bill to details also, and here we have the invoice number, the invoice date also, and here we have the items here. In the items we have the item name, quantity, unit price, then we have the text or the total details, and here we are getting the total details and all. And when we click on the generate document, it will create the PDF out of this. So now we will write here snippet coder. Here we have the email ID snippet coder @outlook.com. Then we will put here the billing address. We are putting here Delhi, and the country we will put here India. And here we can put the bill to detail. We can put here customer name John, email ID of that customer john@gmail.com. Here we can put the address here US, the country also we will put here US. In the items we will put here first item, we will put here application consultancy. We will put the quantity 1 piece. Unit we are putting as a piece here, and the price we will put here 20. In the unit we can also change it to per hour, and here we can put the quantity, like if we are putting here the quantity like it 10, that means 10 hours of billing we are doing here for the client. And then also we can put here the text also, and it will generate here the total amount and all. Then again we will click here add item. We will put here 24x7 support, and quantity we can put here 50. Here also we can put here per hour, and the amount we will put here 15. You can see here we are getting the total amount as a 1045, subtotal is 950, and the text is 95. You can see here because the text we are calculating 10% of the subtotal and all. Then we will click on the generate document here. You can see here the PDF is getting generated here, and here we have the invoice details here, then the item details and the total price here. So before starting a video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So we required some of the packages in our application, and the first package is PDF, and that will be used for generating the PDF file from our application. And the second package is printing, and that is also used for the printing and the PDF both. Third package is the path provider, and that will be used for when we select any logo in our invoice generator, and for that purpose we require the path provider so that it can select the file and all. Same open file is also required for the same purpose. And the file picker is also the same package which is required in our application. So all the three packages are required. So all the packages which we are going to use in our application are all compatible with the mobile application and the desktop application both. So now let's move to the code. So this is our application, and first of all we will go to the PubSpec, and there we are going to add all the 5 packages. So here we will add, so all the packages has been added. So what we have to do, we have to create the multiple widgets so that we can combine all the widgets in our main page. So we will create the folder here, widgets, and before that we have to create the model file also, and we will create the folder here, models. And first of all we have to create a model file here, and we will write here invoice_item_model.dart file. Here we have to create a class here, class invoice item, and in our application we are having a 5 item for the invoice item. So this is for the invoice item. I will write here string description in type of quantity, then we have a string type of unit, double type of price, then we have the double type of VAT, or you can say text here. Here the constructor invoice item, required field we are going to make it description required, and this dot description, required this dot quantity, required this dot unit, required this dot price, required this dot VAT. So our model file is ready. So now let's move further. In the widgets, we are going to create a multiple widgets. First one we are going to create is our invoice header, invoice underscore header dot file, and we have to make it as a stateless widget. We will write here class invoice header, and we will extend with our stateless widget. So what we have to do, we have to create a header here. We are going to create the header widget here, and we are having some of the item inside that. First one is our logo file. Then we have our logo tab event when we click on that logo, and then we have our invoice number text box. Then we have our invoice date text box. So first we have to write here final file type logo file, and we have to import here .io. Then we have the final void callback. So from here we will just write the name of the function, and the callback function we are going to do wherever we are going to implement this widget on logo tab. Then we have our final text editing controller, invoice number controller. Same we have to do for the text editing controller for our invoice date controller also, invoice date controller. Then here we have to create the constructor for this one. We will write here constant invoice header, and here we have the key, any unique key we have to pass here. Then we have the required this dot logo file, required this dot on logo tab event, required this dot invoice date controller, required this dot invoice number controller, or we can swap the value here. So now here what we have to do, we have to create a widget also. We will override here widget, build widget, build context, and from here we are just going to return our row widget, because in the row we are having left and the right column. Inside the left column we are having a logo, and the right side we are having a two column. First one is the invoice number and the invoice date row. Then we have to pass the children's here. Here we have to put here inkwell, that we are going to use for our logo click event and all. On tab, we are mapping it with our on type event. So whenever we are going to implement this widget in the other page, there we have to pass this logo tab event. In the child here, we are putting a container with the height 100, width also 100. The color we are going to use for the container is our gray color, colors dot gray 300. In the child we have to check here logo is equal to, if logo file is equal to null, that means no file is selected. Then we have to show here the text with the center widget. Text we are showing here, add your logo. Style we are using here text style, colors dot, here we have to lowercase, colors dot gray color 600. In the else condition we will load the file from image.file, and we have to pass this logo file here. And for the fit we are using here box fit dot cover. After container we are going to give some spacing here. We will put here constant spacer. We have to write after this one. Then we have to put the column widget, because we have to show two rows here. Cross alignment we are using here cross alignment dot start. Then we have the children's here, and for showing the children's we have to do some text styling and all. And for that we will just create one small widget here, widget underscore build text field. We will pass here string label we have to pass the controller here, text editing controller, and from here we will return the size box width 200. Child we are using here text field, controller we will map with whatever the controller we will pass here. And then the decoration we are using here input decoration, and we will put the label text is equal to whatever the label we are passing from there. And for the border we are using here constant outline input border. So here we will pass this one label, we will put here invoice number. Then we have to pass the controller here. The controller first one is the invoice number controller. Then we can copy this one, and before that we have to give some spacing here. We are using a size box height 8, and again we will paste here and we will put here input date, invoice date, and we will map it with our invoice date controller. So our widget is ready. So what we did here, we have created one widget, that is invoice header, and there we are having a logo file, and then we have the callback event for the on logo tab. Then we have the controller for the invoice number controller and the invoice date controller, and the constructor part here. And after that we are just building the widget here for the row widget, and under that we are having a logo part, and there we are putting logo select option and all. And if the logo is selected, then we are just showing the file here, else we are showing the text as a ideal logo. After that we are putting a spacer here, and then we are just showing the column widget with the 2 columns. First one is the invoice number and the invoice date, and for that we have just created a small widget so that we don't have to repeat the same code here, and we can just make it a generic code here. So now let's move further. So now we will create our second widget, and for doing that we have to go to our widget folder, and there we will write here invoice underscore contact underscore details underscore section dot file. We will make it as a stateless widget, and we will name it as a contact details screens. Here we have to write few of the fields here. First one will be our final string title. Then we have our 5 controllers: final text editing controller, name controller. I will copy this one, and here we will write here email address city. Then we have our country. Then here we have our required this dot title, required this dot name controller, required this dot address controller, required this dot city controller, required this dot country controller. Then we have our here we have our required this dot email controller. So basically this widget will be used for our from and to bill sections, where we have to put the detail for our invoice, like from where we are generating this invoice and to whom we are going to generate the invoice, and those detail will come there. So here also we have to write that bill text field, and we can copy from our old function also. We are not creating it in the utility because we have to use a different style for the different widgets. So here we are just going to use the controller. Then we have our label text, and width we are not providing anything. The rest of the things will be same here. And from here in the build we have to return here column widget. Here we have our cross-axis alignment, and we are using a dot start. Then we have the children's here, and the first children we are going to put is the text widget with our title. Style we are using here text style. Font weight we are using here font weight dot bold. And then we have the font size here, and we are using a 16. After that, we will put some spacing here. We are using a constant size box. Height, we are using a 8. Then we have to write here build text field, and label we have to put here name, and we will map it with our name controller. Same we have to do here. Before that, we have to put some spacing here. So now we will copy this one and we will paste here. Here we will change it to email address. Here we will map with our email controller. And then here we have our billing address. We will put here address controller. Then here we have the city, state, zip. We will map with our city controller. And the last one will be our country, and we will map with our country controller. So what we did here, we have created one widget for the invoice contact details, and there we are having the title. Then we are having a 5 field name controller, email address, city and country, and there we are just creating column widget, and we are mapping with our fields here. So now let's move further, and we will create another widget. So now the next widget will be our item table, and that will be like whatever the items we are adding there, that will become there, and we will name it as a item underscore table dot tag file. We will make it as a stateless widget, item table. Here also we have to put some of the functions here. Final list invoice items. Then we have our on add event callback, void callback on add item. And then we have our final function, and we have to pass the int here. That will be our index we have to pass here. And the method name will be our on remove item. Then we have final function int string. Then we have our on update item description. We have to copy this one, we have to paste here, and we have to make all the on update for all the items here. On update item description. Then we have the quantity here. Then we have the unit price, unit, and here we have the price. So last item will be our on update item VAT. So now we have to pass all this item here. Required this dot items, required this dot on add item, required this dot on remove item, required this dot on item description, required this dot on item unit, required this dot on item quantity, required this dot price, required this dot VAT. So we have to create two widgets first. First one will be our table header, and the second one will be for our items. Here we have our widget underscore build item table header, and from here we will return container widget. Inside the container we have to first set the color here. Because it is a header, we will change the color here to gray 200. Then we have the padding here. We will pass some padding here. Constant edge inset dot all 8. Then we have the child here, and there we are using the row widget because we have to provide a multiple columns, and each column we are going to use the expanded widget. And the flex we are putting here 4 because we have to make it a responsive application because this is a desktop application. So that's why we have to use the expanded here, so that whenever we resize the application, it will automatically update our columns and all. Child we are using here text widget, item, style we are using it text style, font weight dot bold. Then again we can copy this one and we can paste here. Flex we will change it to 1, and here we have to put the quantity. Again we have to paste here, and here also flex will be 1, and we will put here unit. We'll copy this one and we will paste here 3 times. So after the unit we have to put here price text and then total. After that we will give some spacing here, size box, width 40, and here we have to create another widget that will be underscore build item row. There we have to pass the index and then invoice item, and here we have to return here a row widget, and there we have the children's here, and again we have to use the expanded widget. We can copy from this one, and instead of putting the label here, we will map it with our controller here, and we will use here text widget, text field widget, and the decoration part we will put here decoration input decoration hint text we are using here item dot description, whatever the description we are passing from there. And then we have the on change event that we can assign the value from our whatever the events we have given here, and for the description we are having here on update item description, and we have to pass the index here and item value, and we have to map with our this value. So what we are doing here, we have just created one row widget, and there we are putting the all the columns here, and we are having a text field, and decoration we are using the hint text, you can say the placeholder, and whatever the description we are passing there in the item we are showing here. In the on change event, whenever the value is changed here, we are just firing this function that is on update item description, and whatever the things we have to do from there, that we will handle in our main page. Same way we will copy this one and we will do for the other fields also. We'll paste here, and flex we will change it to 1, and here we will change it to on update item quantity. This one we will change it to quantity. We will copy this one, we will change it to item quantity dot to string. Here also we will copy, we will paste here, and here we can also change the text alignment. We can change it to text alignment as a text align dot center. Same for this one also, and here we will change it to on update item unit. Copy this one, we'll paste this one here. This one we will change it to price. Here also price, and this one we will change it to unit. Then again we have to create for the text also. We will change it to VAT. This one as a VAT, and these are the amount values. We will align as a right align here also, and same thing we can do here also in the header also. And we can do for the text also and the total also. So after the text we have to do for our total also. Here instead of showing the text field, because these are the calculated fields, and here we will show just the text widget as a label we can show here. We will write here item dot quantity into item dot price into 1 plus item dot VAT divided by 100. To string as fixed to 2 decimal. Text align, we are going to use the right here only, and after that we have to put the icon for the delete item also, so that user can also delete the item if they want. Icon button, we are having here on press event, and we will map it with our on remove item, and from here we will pass the index here. And the icon we are going to use here constant icon start delete icon. So now we have to put both the wizards in our main widget. Here we have to create container, then we have the children's here. Here we have to change it to column widget. There we have the children's here. First we will put here build item table header, then we have to do the loop through, or we can use the as a map, and we can show all the items here. I will put here items dot as map dot entries dot map, and from here we have to first get the index here. Int index is equal to entry dot key. Then we have the invoice item is equal to entry dot value. Then from here we will return underscore build item row, and we can pass these, and from here we will write here to list, so it will loop through. After this we have to show also the button for adding a new row. For that we have to write here alignment we are using here alignment dot center left. Child we are using here text button. In the on press event we have to pass the event which we have created, on add event, and the child we are going to use the, and here instead of using normal text button we can put here dot icon. So now we have to pass 2 more items, icon constant icon icons dot add icon. Then we have the label here. We can show here text widget add item. So what we did here, we have created the one widget here, item table, as a stateless widget. There we are defining our items. Then we have our on add item event, on remove event. Then we have our other events like updating the description, quantity, unit price, and VAT. Then we have the constructor here. After that we are creating the main widget by dividing the widget into 2. First one is the header widget. There we are passing all the headers. After that we are having the item row widget, and there also we are mapping it with the text field and all. So now let's move further, and we can create our last widget, that will be our total summary widget. So now we will create one more widget, and for that we have to go there in the widget folder, and there we will write the name as a total summary dot file. This one also we are making it as a stateless widget, total summary, and we have to write few of the variables here. Final double subtotal, final double total VAT, final double total, final string currency, and we have to pass all in the constructor here. This dot subtotal, this dot total VAT, this dot total, this dot currency, and we will make it as a required here. All the field will be required here also. So in the widget we have to put here align widget, and the alignment we are using here alignment dot center right, and then the child here, and we are using a column widget. Here we have the cross-axis alignment, and we're using a cross-axis alignment dot end. Then we have the children's here, and we are using a text widget. First one will be our subtotal, and we have to first use the currency here. Then we have to use a subtotal dot toString as fixed to. Again we will copy paste, and we will put here text, and we have to put here total vact. Then we have to use a container widget here. There we have the child. Inside the container we have to put the padding here, and we are using a as instant dot all 8, and we can make it as a constant here because the value of the padding is not going to change here. Then we have the color here, and we are putting the background color as a colors dot blue color. Then we have the child here, and we are putting a text widget. The text will be total. First we have to put the currency, then we have to put here total dot toString fixed to. In the style we are using here constant text style, font weight dot bold, font size we are using here 18. Then we have the color here, and we are using a colors dot white color. So now our this summary widget is also ready, and there we are having a subtotal text and the grand total. So now what we have to do, we have to create a main invoice page, and there we have to integrate all the sub widget which we have created. So here in the lib folder we have to write here invoice underscore page dot file. In this one we are going to make it as a stateful widget invoice page. Here we have to put some of that variables. First one will be our string type of currency is equal to $sign. Then we have to create the object for the file logo, and we have to import here dart.io. So now we have to create our text controller also. First we have to do for the header part, and there we are having two controller. First one will be our final text editing controller invoice number controller is equal to text editing controller, and we can pass the dummy value also. Text is equal to 2024001. Same we have to copy paste here, and we will change it to invoice date. So here we can also put any date if we want to show. If we don't want to show anything, we will not put here. So here we can make scaffold widget, and first we have to use the app bar, and we are using a app bar title constant text invoice generator. Then we have the body here. In the body we are using a padding as insert dot all 32. In the child we are going to use our column widget, and the cross-axis alignment we are using a cross-axis alignment dot start. And here we have to put the children's here, and the first one will be our invoice header, and there we have to pass all the values. We will map this logo file. Here the name will be logo file, and here the on tap event we can create here future void underscore select logo file async, and here we have the file picker result is equal to await, and we have to use a file picker dot platform dot pick files. Type will be file type dot image, because in the logo we have to use the image file. Then we have the allow multiple, we have to pass here false, and here we will check if result not equal to null. Then we can set state logo file is equal to file result dot files dot single dot path. So what it will do, we have created one function that is select logo file. It will call the file picker on the basis of whatever the platform it is, and we are putting the type as an image. We also disable the multi-select, and once we get the result, we will set the logo file with this result path, and here we will just pass this variable, this function name. So now let's do one thing. Let's run the application, see is it working or not. Before doing that, we have to go to our main.dot file also, and there we have to remove all the unnecessary code, and this one we will assign with our invoice page. And let's run the application, see is it working or not. So we will start the debugging here. So here we are getting the null error. We will just run it. So here we have to remove this one, and we will save it, and we will reload the application. So now you can see here application working here. We are getting the logo here, invoice number, invoice date, and we can also resize the application like this way. You can see here. So that means our application working now. So now let's move further. So now next we have to show the billing details and all from section and the to section. And for doing that, first we have to create the text editing controller here, variables. We will write here final text editing controller from name controller is equal to text editing controller. Next we have to copy this one. We have to paste 4 times, and here we have to change it to email, address, city and country. Now same we have to do for the to bill to also, and for that also we will copy all this. We will paste here, and we will change just this from to bill to here also, this one also, and this one and this one also. So now we will go down, and after the invoice header we will put some spacing here. We will write here constant size box height 16. After that we have to use that row visit because we have to show 2 columns, and we are using here children's, and we will use the expanded child. We are going to use the contact details section, and here we have to map here from name, from email, from address, from city, then we have a from country. Title we have to change it to from, and after that we have to put the size box here for the spacing, width 32, and we can just copy this one and we can paste here, and here we will change it to bill to. Here variables we will change it to bill to, this one, and here and here also. So now we will save it, and we will see our application. You can see here the bill to detail also coming here, and it is all the responsive here. We just increase and decrease the size. You can see all the text boxes are adjusting automatically. So now we will move further, and we will add more section here. So now we have to add the items, and for that what we have to do, we have to create one variable here, list type of invoice item. Items is equal to, and we will create the array here, invoice. We will just create one dummy item also, description, brochure, design, quantity 1, unit, piece, price will be 100, and the VAT will be. After this contact detail section, we have to put some spacing here. We will put here size box, height will be 24. So now here we will write item table, and this items is automatically map here, and now we have to create all this function here. So here what we can do, we can just click here on the create method add-on. It will create all the method. Then we have to put the implementations here. I will do for all. So now we have to do the first implementation for on add item. We will write here set state items dot add invoice item. Description we will pass dummy, quantity 1, unit we can pass as a dummy also, price we can pass as a 0, same for the VAT also. So what it will do, when we click on the add button, it will just add the row, and now we have to do for the on remove item also. We can, here it is the index. So what we can do, we can put set state, and we can write here items dot remove at and we can just pass the index here. It will remove that item. So now for this update, what we have to do, we have to change this one to index string. We have here the description, or we can put it as a value. And here what we can do, we can just call here set state, and we can update the item, and we will pass here index dot description, and whatever the value here we have, we will pass here. Same we have to do for the other also. We will just copy, we will paste here, and here we will change it to quantity. So what we will do, we will just pass here, we will do here int dot try parse, and we will pass the value here. If it is failed, then we will pass the default value as a 0. Same we have to do for the unit also. It will be in the string. We will just copy these parameters and we will save it. Here we will change it to unit, and here we will just pass the value here. Same we have to do for the value also, that for the price, and parameter name we have to change this one price, and we have to do the double because the value of this price is in the double format. Same we have to do for the VAT also, like this way. So now we can reload the application. See, you can see here dummy value also coming here. So now if I click on the add item, you can see no new row has been created here. And if I put the value here, and here quantity, and here also the unit, price, then the text here, you can see here total is getting calculated here. If I change it to 200, you can see value of that total is changed. So now if I click on the remove, you can see row is removed here. So now let's move further, and we will add the footer and all. After this, we will put some spacing, size box, height will be 32. Then we have the total summary, and before doing that, we have to put the variables here. Here we have the final subtotal is equal to underscore, and we have to create one function for the calculation and all. We have to write here double underscore calculate subtotal items dot fold 0.0 sum item sum plus item dot quantity into item dot price. What it will do, it will calculate the subtotal on the basis of all the items in the list by multiplying the quantity with the price and adding all the sum, whatever the sum is getting. Same we have to do for the VAT also. We can put here total VAT. So here we have the item quantity, item price into item dot VAT divided by 100. So now we have to map all this in these variables. Underscore calculate subtotal final total VAT is equal to underscore calculate total VAT. Then we have the final total is equal to subtotal plus total VAT. So now we have to map this value here. It is automatically added. So now we will save here and we will open this one. You can see here price text is coming here. If I change the price to 200, you can see subtotal is 200 and the text is 20, and here total is 220 and the grand total here is coming as a 220. Same if I add new item, quantity 2, price 100, text 10, you can see calculation coming here 240. So here seem like some calculation issues. So now let's see there. So here inside the on update item value, we are just mapping the wrong value. It will be VAT here. So now we will save it and we will check again. Now you can see value is coming correct. Let's put a new row. Here we will put 200. Here we will put 5. And here if I change the quantity to 2, you can see calculation coming perfectly fine now. So now let's move further. So now we have to write a code to generate a PDF file. We can create one widget here, widget underscore build generate PDF button, and from here we will return center widget. From here we have the child and we are using a elevated button. On the on press we will generate one new method here, generate PDF invoice, and in the child we are using a text widget, generate PDF. Now here we have the future void generate PDF invoice, and we will make this as a async here because we are going to use the await also here in the function. Final PDF is equal to pw.document, and this pw we have to map here with our import package.pdf/widget as pw, and it will be uppercase. So first of all, we have to convert the logo in the format of the PDF. We will write here pw.image provider PDF logo. Here we will check if the logo file is not equal to null. Then here we will write PDF logo is equal to pw.memory image await logo file dot read as byte. After that, we have to write three variables. Final subtotal is equal to underscore calculate. We will use that same methods. Then we have the total VAT. We will use here underscore calculate total VAT. Then we have the final total is equal to subtotal plus total VAT. After that, we will add the pages in the PDF. We will write here pdf.add page. Here we will write pf.page, and we will build it, and we will write here context pw.column. Cross-axis alignment we are using here cross-axis alignment dot start. Then we have the children's here. Here we have to use the pw.cross-axis alignment. In the children, we will first check if PDF logo not equal to null. Then we have pw.image, and we will map here PDF logo. Width we will give 100, height also 100. After that, we have the pw.text. We will put here invoice. The style we will use here pw.text style. Font size 24. Font weight pw.font weight dot bold. Then we will give some spacing pw.sizebox height 16. Then we have to put the invoice number and date pw.text invoice number, and we will map with our invoice controller dot text. Same we have to do for the date also, invoice date, and we can map with our invoice date controller. Then we have to give the spacing again. After that, we have to give the text for our title like it invoice. After that, we have to put the detail for our from and the bill to. We can use same, and we will put here it is from, and we can put here name. We will map with our from name controller dot text. Same we have to do for the other fields also, name and email, address, city, and we have country here. After that, we have to give the spacing here, and before that we have to change the variable's name here, email, address. Then we have our city, country. Now same we have to do for the bill to also. We will just copy all this and we will paste here. Here we will change it to bill to. Here also we can put colon. Here we will change it to bill to, and we will do for all the fields. After that, we have to show all the items here, and for showing that we have to use the table from here, pw.table dot from text array. Here we can use the header. First value will be item description, then the quantity here, then we have our unit, then we have the price, text, total. After that we have to show the items here. We'll put here data and we will map with our items dot map item. Here we have the final item total is equal to item dot quantity into item dot price into 1 plus item dot VAT divided by 100, and from here we will return item dot description, item dot quantity to string, then we have our item dot unit, item dot price to string as fixed to, then we have our item dot VAT to string to, same for the item total also to string decimal 2 place. After this we will put some spacing here, pw dot size box height 16, then we have the footer, and for that we have to first use the alignment here, and we are using alignment pw dot alignment dot center right, then we have the child here. So the benefit of using this library is like it is exactly whatever we did in the all the code of the Flutter, the same thing we can use here, just we have to use the widget of the PDF library and all. And here we have the child here, and we are using a pw dot column widget, and the cross axis alignment we are using a pw dot cross axis alignment dot end, and then we have the children's here, and we are using a pw dot text subtotal. We will show the currency here, and then we have to show here subtotal dot to string. Here we have the text total VAT, then again we have to show the container here. Even we can copy the same code from the widget also, like we can go here, we'll just copy this one and we will go there, and here we will just put here pw dot container. Here also we can change it to pw. The color we can use here PDF colors dot blue. Text also we can put pw dot text. Here also, here we can use PDF colors. Now you can see, so our PDF function is also ready. So what we did here, we have created the one function here that is named as a generate PDF invoice, and there we are just creating the object for the pw.document, and pw is our PDF widget, and there we are just, after that we are just checking here if we are having a logo, then we are loading it into memory. After that we are doing the calculation for the subtotal and the total. So now after that in the PDF we are adding the page, and inside that we are adding the PDF widgets dot page, and we are just doing all the design part, like we are putting the label for the invoice, then the invoice number, date, from detail, bill to detail, then we have our all the item details here. After that we are putting the footer here. So now we have to call this function after our summary. We'll put here, we'll just reload the application and we will see here. So now you can see generate PDF is coming here. So first, without putting information, we will just click on the generate. So now nothing is happening. So now let's see what the issue is. So main thing we forget. So after all this design part, we have to just save the PDF also. And for doing that, we will write here final output is equal to await get temporary directory, and then we have the final file is equal to file output dot path slash invoice dot pdf. After that We'll write here await file dot write as bytes, and here we have to write await PDF dot save. Then here we have to call, after saving we have to just open the file here. We will write this code, open file, and we have to import here dot open, and we have to pass this file dot path here. So now what we did here, we have just created one variable with the output, and that returning us the temporary directory path, and we are just storing the invoice PDF file inside that path by writing this code. After that, after saving it, we are just opening the file by using this open file dot open. So now reload the application, and let's see. We click here in the generate. Now you can see this PDF is getting generated here without any issue. Even we can add the logo also. So we can select the logo also. You can see logo is also coming. So now if I click on the generate, you can see logo is also coming in the invoice here. So this is the application which we have created as a desktop application. So now let's move further, and we will learn how we can generate the DMG file for the macOS and exe file for our Windows OS. So now first of all we have to create our macOS build, and for that we have to make sure we are on a Mac PC, and also we need to ensure that we are having a Node and npm install. And for checking that, we have to open our terminal, and first we will write here node ---- version. You can see we are getting the version number 19.5.0, and same we have to do for the npm also. We will put here npm ---- version, and we are getting a 9.7.2. So now we have to first create our build here for the macOS, and for that we will put the command here flutter build macOS ---- release. We will press the enter here. You can see here that build is created here, that is flutter _desktop _invoice _app.app. So now we have to install one package in the npm, and we will write here npm install, and we will put here -g. So what it will do, it will create that package in the global location so that we can use that command anywhere from our system. And then we will put here app dmg. So what this package do is it create the dmg file for our Flutter application. We will write here npm install -g app dmg. We will press enter here. You can see the package is installed now. So from here we will verify that package is installed or not. We will put here app dmg ---- version. We will press enter. You can see here we are getting node -app dmg app dmg version 0.6.6. So now what we have to do, we have to create one folder, and that folder will be created in the root, and we will name it as a installer. And under that we will create one more folder. We will name it as a macOS, and one we can do for the Windows also. So now for the macOS we will select here, and we will create one file under it. We will put here config.json. So this is our content for that app. Here we have the title, then we have the icon. We can put any icon inside this folder. Then we have the content here, axis, y-axis. The type will be link, and the path where the application is going to install, that will be the applications folder. And then here we have to put the path of the application. From here it will pick the path and all for the application to be installed. So now what we have to do, we have to open the terminal again, and we have to run one command. First we will go to the same folder, that installer folder. We will put here cd installer, then we will go to the macOS folder, and from here we will run the command app dmg. Then we have to put this config file .json. Then here we have to put the name for the output file, that we will put here invoice app.dmg. Now we will press the enter from here. So here we are getting some error because we don't have any icon file here inside that folder. That's why it is giving the error. So let's put the icon file first. So we can also copy this icon file from here, from that runner assets, and this icon we can copy this one and we can paste here. Now from here we can just change the extension here. We will copy this one and we can paste here. This one name we will change it to thumb. So now let's rerun the command and let's see. So here you can see your image is ready. So if I go to the same folder, you can see we are getting here invoice_app.dmg. So now let's execute this file. So here you can see we are getting an invoice app, and then we are getting the option for copy this file to our application folder. What we can do, we can just click here. It will save the file here. So now we are getting our app installed in our macOS. So now what we will do, we will open the command here and we will put here Flutter_Desktop Invoice app. We will press enter here. So you can see this application is working here and it is running from our local machine, not from our VS Code. It is just running from our application folder. So in this way you can create the DMG file that is for our macOS, and you can distribute this file to the end user so that they can use your application. So now let's move further and we will learn how we can create the window exe file in our Flutter application. So now let's move further. So in our window application, we have to just first run the command here. We will write here flutter build windows -- release. So here you can see the exe file is generated here. So exe file is created now, so we can't give this exe file directly to our customer. So what we can do is we can create a setup file. From that setup file, it will copy the exe file and the other required file in the end user system and all. So for that we have to first install one application. So you have to find one application that is INO setup, and you have to download that setup, and on the basis of this setup you can create the setup file for your window application and all, and you can download this file. So now what we have to do, we have to open this file. So here we have to select here the create a new empty script file, then we will click on the OK. Now from the file we will click on the new, and from here we will click on the next. Now here we can put our application name. We will put here Flutter Invoice Desktop App. Version number we can give here whatever the version number is, and application provider we can put our company name, snippet coder. In the website also we can put the name of our website, snippet coder. Then we will click on the next. Now it will ask where the application will be installed. We will select the default value, that is program files folder, and name will come like this one. We will click on the next. So now what we have to do, we have to click on the browse and we have to select our exe file. This is our path. We will select the file here. We will click on the open. So in case we are using any other DLL file or anything, we can just click on the add files and we can add those DLL also. So in our case we are using two DLLs. First one is this PDF and then second one is this printing. So here we will select all the three DLLs files and we click on the open. So now we click on the next. Again we will click on the next. If there is any license for you or any documentation, you can select here next, and here you can also select any language if there is any specific language for your application. By default we are using the English here. We will click next here, and one thing we forget, we have to go back. Here we have to also select the folder also. The data folder we have to add here. We will click on the add folder. We will click here yes, because we have to include all the files inside the data folder. So now we will click next here, next, and again next. Now we will click again next, and we will now click on the finish. You will see here that all the script is generated for our exe file generation and all. It is asking would you like to compile the new script now, and we can click on the yes. It is asking us to save the file, so we will save the same file inside our installer folder. I click on the yes. Here we will create a new folder, that is Windows folder. We will save here. We will rename the file as a desktop_setup and we will save here. So now you can see here it is saying finish. So now we will go to that folder, and here inside the installer folder, Windows folder, then you can see this setup file. it is inside here, and we will go to output folder. You can see my setup.exe file. I will open it. So now we will right click and we will run as a administrator. So here you can see the installer, and it is giving us the program C program files, then that our name of the application. We will click on the next, and we will click on the click desktop shortcut also. We will click next, and we will click on the install here. So now it's asking us to launch the app. We will click on the finish. So here you can see our application is working here. So here the option for add your logo, then from and build to invoice number, invoice date, everything is coming. So if I click on the generate document also, so here you can see invoice is also getting generated. So that's all in this video. I hope you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe channel, like, comment, share. I will come back soon with another awesome video. Thank you for watching the video.